Mom and Dad's friends and a member of the Christ Church, Gary Fellers, has something he wrote to say to them.
Sorry.
With this ring I thee wed and betroth my love to you would have been words similar to the ones that you shared with each other 50 years ago. Both loved each other and knew with God's help and His providence you would share a life together in unity for a lifetime. You endeavor to raise your children in a Christian home in love, using God's principles and precepts. And even though your marriage would not be perfect, the problems you encountered would be worked out in love for each other, using God's principles according to His word. There would be times of separation when both would need divine guidance to meet the challenges each would face alone, with only the guidance of the Holy Spirit to guide and comfort each other, even though thousands of miles apart. God's outreached hand would reach across continents, oceans, mountains, rivers, cities, and valleys to let each of you know that He was with you despite the trials and circumstances of your life. He would bless your union with children who would know love, kindness, gentleness, and the other gifts of the Spirit, and know everything would not be perfect, as no marriage is, but love prevailed. He would give you grandchildren to love and to spoil. Excuse me. And as you reflect upon these past 50 years, and you see how God's hand was always present, He brushes your eyes with tears. But they're not sad tears, but tears of joy, as you symbolically now reach over and hold each other's hand. Would you do that? And remember, as scenes from 50 years of marriage flash before your eyes, and you realize how blessed we are, and how blessed we still are. And I can imagine some 50 years ago, LaVoy saying to Ann, "Take my hand and my heart will follow." And Ann did. And the rest is history. Congratulations on 50 years. Happy 50th gold anniversary. Okay.
I think Mom and Dad want to say a few words.
I'll stand up so I won't talk too long. But, thinking back, 50 years. And actually, a little bit before then, I was in the Air Force at James Connolly Air Force Base, Waco, Texas. And I've always been reared in church, so I started looking for a young people's group who I could be with and associate with, because I was going to be at this NAV school for 10 months or so. And so I finally went to 18th and Pine, went to the door of the church, and the pastor met me there and introduced myself, he to me. And I said, "Well, I'll tell you, I'm looking for a young people's group." And he said, "Well, we just got a Chi Alpha group, we just got back from a retreat." And that sounded great, because in college I had been a member of Chi Alpha. And so I knew what they were doing and had been. And I knew they were around my age. So the pastor took me over to the group. The first person he introduced me to was Ann. And so we got to talk to each other and visit each other. And that was Pastor Sam O'Toole who did that. And Gloria, his widow, is here today, and I'm glad that she was here. I was in her Sunday school class. I don't think she remembers me, but it's been a long time. But when we did get married, and we exchanged rings. This is the original one. It's been around the world. And you said, well, you can't fly with that. That's true. I had to take it off, put it on my dog tags. So it was never very far from me. Always a reminder of what was at home. So we did that, you know. I was in the Air Force for 28 years, and we retired. You know, during those 28 years, Ann had to sometimes be the single parent. And I would be away for sometimes weeks at a time. My longest time away was about 15 months. But she was able to take care of all the business, everything that needs to be done. And so, you know, I was blessed to have someone who's able and as capable as she. Thinking back, I remember before we were married, we went to her grandparents at Hillsboro. And so we were, as a family reunion, to get together for Easter. And one of her uncles, he was an Army sergeant, her Uncle Marlin, he just comes straight out and says, "You gonna take our little girl away from us?" And I said, "Well, I'm thinking about it." And Ann was standing right there. She looked at me and said, "Whose decision is this anyway?" I said what she was thinking. But in spite of all those missteps, we did get together and had a happy marriage for a long time. So I'm reflecting back over 50 years. What does it take? It takes communication. You don't have to know what each other is thinking, somewhat. It's getting a little harder nowadays, so I'm getting a harder hearing. But still, you know, you need to talk to each other, know what each other's thinking. And sometimes we have different points of view. Sometimes that's good, we talk it out. Sometimes a decision has to be made. And she graciously let me prevail most of the time. Now she says I'm a controller. But anyway, it's been a good 50 years, and I'm looking for many more to share with my companion for these many 50 years. Glory.